Boys, it is past midnight. I'm having an awful hair day. I'm balding at the age of 23. And it is time to talk about a new song we made. I'm also hiding my face, because my students in the past have all called me Mr. Babyface whenever I shave, and I did that today. So I don't want to ruin the, you can see, I don't want to ruin the allegations. I don't want to address them either. You know, my students, they, 4th and 5th graders, they will be honest. And you know what? I'm all here for it. My name's Sty, not Stee, and it's STY, Sty, spelling bee. And I helped make a new song recently. It's called Deliver Us by YourBoySponge. And this song is one of my favorites that I've ever gotten the chance to make. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to react to my own song, like a little narcissist. And we're also going to take y'all through the FL Studio file so you guys can see what I did, how I got the sounds, and how I mixed things, and so on. So we're going to have a good time tonight. We're going to go ahead and show y'all around. I might not be able to help out much, but you'll at least see my workflow to some extent. So let's go ahead and set it to the default mode on OBS because I do things manually here. And look at that beautiful array of windows. FL Studio file, boom. Song, boom, right there. I totally did not do a take earlier, but realized A, my audio had bugged, and B, my name was in the file of the song, and I have to cover it with my face cam to make sure I don't dox myself. It's a good time, y'all. Let's go ahead and start off talking about the animation, because the song is cool and all, but this animation I'm very proud of. On Sunday, which was last Sunday, which was 1 week ago, we made the demo, and by we, I mean, pretty much I sent it to Sponge and I was like, hey, this is a song that I just kind of made, and it was a very simple demo, had some really basic lyrics, you know, and I was kind of mumbling. You kind of mumble to yourself to find the flow, and you're like, try to figure out the flow. Sponge hears it and he's like, I love it. I'm like, oh, of all the ones to like, you know, I thought this was maybe the more out there one. And so we made it into a song in 3 days. Sunday was the demo. Monday, I put the skeleton of the song together. Tuesday, I mixed it and finalized it. Wednesday, we sent it off to be delivered to the sort of streaming services. And then Tuesday through Thursday, Sponge made the music video. Let's go ahead and talk quickly about, yes, it is 3D. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys this in a way that is as PR as possible, but this video was made in 3 days. I understand people are a bit bummed that it's not 2D. However, I want to applaud my boy Sponge because the fact that he made this in 3 days when he could have easily just made a video using generative AI is something that I know and I believe in my heart we should applaud. And I think he does not get enough credit for this animation because you're thinking, production value. I'm a guy who made a song and he's just a dude who made the video. We don't have a big team. So I want to take, before we even get into the song, give my man some real applause because this is outstanding. He's not as familiar with Blender as other artists are. So the fact he made this in such a short amount of time and at the quality that I see in this video, look, y'all, I love the 2D videos and I love Austin, but this video might be my favorite just because of the time frame and the respect that I have. So I know there's comments saying 2D, but please, this is amazing. So that's the first thing I want to go ahead and just say. Also, I'll take a moment now to thank you guys because I know people like 21,000 views and they're like, man, that's low. There are people who say that like 21,000 views is low. Oh my goodness, it's crazy. You know, like you're looking at these other people and you're like, they have so much more. I'm just a dude who lives in West Virginia. Like this is insane for me. 21,000 views is like the size of my hometown, if not even bigger. So you can't get caught up in the numbers enough, but this alone, 21,000 people are saying, oh, it's 21,000, blah, blah, but been done before. For me, it's a dream. So thank you guys so much for continuing to watch the video and streaming it online and all the support you've given us. I'm so thankful. And I hope that me responding to your comments and us talking about things and me taking the criticism that you guys give and so on. I've had some amazing conversations, I always do, with people who provide their input, and it always just is such a fun time for me because it also challenges me. I've had a difficult time taking criticism in the past, and now I'm not perfect, but I'm definitely getting better, and I'm really enjoying the process. So thank you guys to those who want to see us get better, to those who are enjoying what we're doing, and to all of you just for the love. This is a dream for me. Let's go ahead and get started, and we're going to go ahead and pause it in the first 10 seconds.
I don't know if we're gonna achieve it, but everything comes down to this pizza.
7 seconds in, that was pretty good. So everything comes down to this pizza was one of those original lyrics. I was like, this is a fun little thing. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Yeah, and then it became the tagline for the whole song. And everything comes down to this pizza is like my favorite thing ever. It's such an earworm. Looking at the FL Studio file, we have a couple of MIDI. We have Wraith Pulse, Midnight Drift, Buzz Cavern, and Funky Kicks. And these are the kind of MIDI. And you also have the Simpluck Glass, which I use for those really high notes you hear. These all come from the FL Studio Flex Pack of Drift Funk. Right here you can see Wraith Pulse. Here's the settings if you want to see them. So all of these have their own little vibe to them. You know, Funky Kicks has a collection of funk kicks. And so that's the whole base of the song. I would maybe try to consider adding in a funk bell just because it's so ubiquitous to the sound and it's less club. That's where the MIDI kind of comes from here. We've got vocals, and we have those little ad-libs, those little ooh you hear from me, like a little owl. So that's kind of what creates this first part. Looking at the mixer tracks, you can see it's a very simple, very, very simple mixer track. And you can see on the right side here, if we go to the vocals as an example, it's just a pitch corrector. It's a thing called Xvox Pro. And you've also got Flexion and a vocal writer. These are all from Neuro Audio. I'm a huge fan of Flexion, and I'm a huge fan of Neuro Audio. The master channel is literally just Flexion and a limiter. The guitar bus has a Flexion instance on it and a limiter. The drums have Flexion on it. It is the secret sauce that made this whole song happen and got us at such a quick time frame. And I would argue it's a better mixed song than like Alone, as an example. So that's the basis of the whole mix. Let me go ahead and bring this back so we're not looking at a bunch of mixer channels. Boom.
I don't know.
That high note there was the
We'll
Simpluck.
never see it. We gotta make it. We gotta make it now. I know what
Boom, right there.
the foes are thinking.
This, the foes thinking line, that was all, not in the first draft, obviously. The lyrics are very simple, and I've heard people say, the lyricism's not there, and that's fair. I wasn't trying to be a lyricist. I was trying to just have fun. So long and so much I've spent time trying to make sure every word work, trying to make sure the flow's perfect, trying to just micromanage every single word because you want to have it be as good as possible. But today, I was like, you know what? Everything comes down to this pizza. And I know for a fact there's a middle ground, but this is like the opposite end of the spectrum. It's just a fun song. And I've always said you can't rely on bars for greatness. Bars are not necessary. Gee whiz. I think it's important to focus on the music, and so that's what I try to do in this song. This is kind of like a little thesis to that. But, if you don't like the lyricism, there isn't really much to behold. So I get it if you're a huge fan of analysis. This might not be your jam.
They don't believe in us.
Would you believe in me again? That'll make sense later.
But everything comes down to this pizza. We gotta believe it. We gotta believe it now.
Boom, right there.
We gotta believe it now.
Those guitars are the Archetype Gojira amp, and every single one of these has an instance, even the more clean-sounding guitars. Archetype Gojira X is so, so good, and I'm a huge fan of it. It sounds beautiful. It has these little beautiful heavy chugs, and so that was my muse in regards to the guitar. Every single one of these guitars has Archetype Gojira. Realm was my favorite reverb. I love Realm. I use it on my pianos. I even think I have an instance of it on the synth bus, don't I? Yes, I do. So Realm I love it. It's from Native Instruments. I got it with the complete collector's edition. Like, I spent my graduation money on that. Worth it.
We gotta believe it now.
I always write a Squidward. And so writing a SpongeBob was different. And I'm so used to rapping a SpongeBob, but rapping in a high voice is so difficult, but singing in a high voice for me is easier. And so the impression worked so well. And I even had the confidence to do those vocal runs. Like, that sounds awful because I don't have any pitch correct on me. And also, it's midnight. But actually, it's 1 a.m. So, that's something that I like about it.
We gotta believe it now. We gotta believe it now.
It's that syncopation, Boom. There's those drums. Boom, right there. Superior Drummer 3 is my favorite thing ever. The STY kit that I made is using the huge snare kit preset. You've got these drums here that are from the Yamaha Beach kit. And then the cymbals, for the most part, well, the snare is the Ludwig Coliseum. The hi-hat is the Top Bosphorus, Top Zildjian K Constantinople with some tuning differences. Crashes being the Zildjian Constantinople. You've got the Zildjian Kerope. Ride cymbal being the Zildjian Constantinople. And then this is the Istanbul 30th crash. There's also a splash from Zildjian. Huge fan of this. It's just the base pack. It did cost a little bit, but I'm enjoying it so far, and there's so much you can do with it. I have a math rock preset. I've got a more trunks kind of preset made, and I'm just continuing to fiddle around with this. And if you'd believe it, the drums have an instance of flexion on them right here. I don't even know how flexion works very much, but I love it. And so we used a snare pusher to really get that snare out, which hopefully you can hear in the final mix.
Everything we can achieve. Pepperoni with extra cheese.
That's my, my brother gets pepperoni on his pizza. So, shout out my boy.
Never using no anchovies because we're fishing. That's kind of mean.
I think having a fish eat fish on their pizza would be very mean. So this breakdown here, I have just some simple guitar licks there hanging out, so it's more hi-hat focused. Very simple composition, but I love it. You got some hi-hat breaks in there, so I'm a huge fan of this little section here. Right there. Had to add in ad-libs because it is a very instrumental-heavy section, so I added in a sort of call and response section, but just while I have your attention, here is the guitar responsible for this entire song. Boom! Ibanez! Geo 7-string guitar in black, which is a fingerprint magnet. Oh my gosh, I need my microfiber. This thing is a beast, $350, but I got it for $100 because of trade-in value, and it's already just paid so many dividends. It is beautiful. Archetype Gojira has a pitch shift, so you can pitch your guitar down in whole octave even, or up if you want to, which means you can really get those beautiful low crunches and those beautiful low chugs using a 7-string or an 8-string. I have my 8-string there, my Ibanez bass behind me, and my Ibanez 6-string is on my bed. I love Ibanez.
Yeah. 'Cause I don't know.
Just reverb, EQ, pitching, yada yada. Not pitching, but EQ adjustments, like nice little call and response.
Deliver us. Deliver us from evil.
They're delivering a pizza, baby.
'Cause I don't know if we'll achieve. We gotta make it.
Again, really simple lyrics. It's not meant to be crazy. It's kind of meant to just be a little earworm.
We gotta make.
Deliver Us was like one of those little lyrics I did. I put in there. Also, there's a video by Awful Fawful called Deliver Us, which if you're a little kid, I would not watch it because there are some adult, words used and so on, and it's maybe not the best thing to watch. But I guess it's also a little bit of a ball knowledge pull, so if you don't look it up. I wouldn't watch it if you're young. I watched it once. That was an experience.
We gotta make it. This pizza for you and me. For you and me. I don't know if
I'm just really happy with how my impression turned out.
we're gonna achieve it, but everything comes down to this pizza. Down to this pizza. Forgot the drink. Forgot the drink. Forgot the drink.
Ha! That never gets old, y'all. That never gets old. I want this to be, if you're listening to this and you're a big musician, I hope you guys are like, what? I want you guys to be confused. I don't want y'all to know what's coming up next. I'm a huge fan of Sleep Token, which is a band that inspired Alone and this song. And so what they do is they fuse together metal, R&B, pop, Afrobeat. They have Latin influences, gospel influences. They have everything under the song. So I tried my best to add in some little funk stuff. And then I wanted to go into a little bit more of a metal section, but I wanted to have a little middle section. To be real, guys, I just wanted to have guitar solo. a saxophone solo. Every song is better with a saxophone solo. And that was courtesy of Session Horns Pro from Native Instruments and also the Noir keyboard from Native Instruments. That pretty much comprises the entirety of the section. You've also got my vocals pitched down with X pitch. So we have the auto-tune on, and we also have a formant pitch down a couple, and that was with my vocals there, which you can hear there. Then you have Squidward, pretty much the exact same thing, X pitch, no formant though. We'll get to the metal breakdown in a second. This kind of gives me like a little bit of Sleep Token vibes, also a little bit of Post Malone vibes in regards to the vocals. Just I added in a little bit of like that kind of vibrato. Boom, right there. A little bit of that falsetto in there too, you know. Gotta have that. Let it be, and we're coming in. And Squidward's there. And then electronics come back in. Up. Boom. Right there, man. Let's just talk about that for a second and tell you guys how we did that. So we have this section, very acoustic in nature, and you need to have a build-up. And I'm not good at making drops. I, by all means, have no experience. But we have Realm as a little synth, which I have it set to a really far, so it sounds like it's really muffled. Not muffled, but like it sounds spacey. And then you have that going down, so it's more in your face. You got the volume going up, so you got this kind of, it's far away. And then it comes in, and then it comes in, and boom, you're there. You got the saxophone rising up in dynamics in there. And then the guitars. We'll talk about the guitars in a sec. The snare kind of doing this little syncopated pattern of like it was better than just like a straight up going. I preferred this, and I think it worked out better. Anyways, with the guitars, so same archetype Gojira, all that good stuff. I tried to have it just come in cold turkey, that ba boom, but like it just didn't sound right. You needed to have it work. You need to justify your transitions. How do you justify a transition from saxophone and electronic to a metal breakdown? Well, you've got to add in the guitar and have it introduce itself. Like, hey, I'm back. Boom, we're here now. So I did like a little drag almost. Like I just like used my pick and went boom, and then I went and just hit those notes, which made recording actually a little bit more difficult because I have to move my hand right and all that stuff and make sure my timing's perfect, and it's a very syncopated pattern, So not very syncopated, but just enough to make it difficult. So that was kind of how I tried to justify that transition. Like you just go bah right there. So that coming with the guitars, modulation on the guitar volume for the little piano breaks in there, and then also towards the end, because otherwise it just sounds way too muffled. So I really think I did an okay job on this. With Squidward's vocals, he actually sounds like he's screaming. By all means, I was just singing normally, but like he sounds like he's screaming. And that's also because we have an amps effect on him. So if we go to his vocals 4 here, you can see we have on the Xbox, we have the amp section here with the enhancer up. We've got the compression, and we've got this SFX. And we also have a lot of duck on his reverb. So he speaks and then, so like if I was like, this one's on the house, that is something that you'll hear in the little break. So listen very closely. Okay, I'm gonna bring it back. There. That really large trail there. I'm a huge fan of this, like the way this one's on the house. Like it sounds like he's screaming it. There's my piano keyboard. Love this. And you're done. Get out of here. My little falsetto there, this one's on, and I just go to that falsetto, Call that a little reference to the Krusty Krab pizza if you want to, but like, boom, love that stuff. This one's on the house. I don't know if we're gonna achieve it, but everything comes. You've got, I might have gone a little soft on the reverb in this section to keep it dreamy, but I kind of like that his vocals are really in your face. Down to this pizza. I don't know if we'll ever see it. Everything's kind of merging together here, It's hanging out. add in some of that realm mix back in for those synths. Repeat those vocals. And the very last thing I added to the song was a little saxophone lick at the very end. Very last thing we added in was that sax solo, that little bit at the end. So let's go ahead and check it out. Get that out of there too. So right at the very end, we've got the realm mix, that synth mix. Here's the mix level. You can see we added it back in and made sure it really got up towards the end. You've got that sax, that little sax solo here. Oh, it's gone. So do 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 do. And so I had the vibrato section. I used, I think, the alto sax to make that one. So when it comes to the other project, and also we have the, we gotta lower that volume, make sure it's all faded out. Man, making this song was so much fun. I got to not focus on the lyrics, and I got to not focus much on the mixing because Reflection just made it so easy, and I just had so much fun making this. So I think that's the most important part. It's what I need to learn to do more, is just have more fun and make sure I'm not spending so long on each minute detail and not trying to be perfect. Imperfections are what make us human, after all. So I think this is a very imperfect song, don't get me wrong, but it's so perfect. Now, that's just me glazing myself, of course. Good job by me. Amazing job, me. But amazing job, Sponge of the Animation. But, the things I could do better, I could mix the guitars a lot better. I think I could have done my timing on the guitar parts better, for sure. I could make the drum parts more interesting in the future. I think there's parts of the dynamics sound a little bit off. Low end could be improved upon. I think I have a hard time with my low ends in particular. So I'm trying to do some listening and trying to understand how to make that better. Mastering is overall fine. I think it could be louder. So things to improve on, I think I could get better. I don't want to do the same thing twice. There will be another metal song coming out eventually. Would you believe in me again? So that's going to happen eventually. I've got some demos for math rock. I've got some demos. I have a country song I want to do too. So it depends on what happens with Sponge and if we want to continue and how we want to, when I can come back. Because we try to drop once a year at least together. But I'm doing my master's program and I'm just finishing up my time as a graduate assistant. So that means from August to December, I'm going to be signing up for, a teaching program to be a teacher. That's my ultimate goal in life. And I want to lock in and do this and see what we can do. If I can make my own things and just have fun, that'd be the ultimate goal. This whole thing has just been so unfathomable. 21,000 views in 2 days and, no applause, hitting 1.7 mil so far. That is the entire population of Philadelphia. That's insanity. You guys don't realize, you're so focused on the numbers, but all these comments too, and there's people who, I talk with, about some criticisms that they have, and just everything is a blessing. Everything's a blessing. Everything comes down to this pizza. People being so positive and being so ready to support. I really hope that I've earned your support. I really hope that you guys you feel like you're being heard by me. I really hope that I'm doing you justice there. Oh, God. That was me stepping on my guitar amp cable, if you heard that little buzz. But this was just so much fun, and the chat replay makes me so happy. Everyone was spamming, everything comes down to this pizza. Hopefully I see you guys very, very soon. Hopefully I make my own thing. Let's go ahead and go to OBS right now. Ka-chow, done. And make my face. No, I'm going to keep my face small. So much fun. So blessed. I've had so much fun watching the reactors, and What It Do Dave talked about Sleep Token. I was like, yo, hey, Sleep Token, I know them. And yeah, they're the best ever. But that is it. That is all from me. I hope to keep having some fun conversations with you guys. I hope I can justify your support in me. I hope we can continue on and just keep on having fun. That all being said, have an amazing day. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.